All right. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Lunch Bunch, our monthly look at the people and programs that make Minds great. I'm Andy Flynn, Director of Alumni Engagement at Minds, and I'm delighted to see so many of you today. If this is your first Lunch Bunch, welcome. We love seeing new faces each month, and I've seen certainly some new faces today. And of course, we appreciate the continued interest and support of our regular attendees. But today, we're pleased to welcome Dr. Walt Copan, Vice President of Research and Technology Transfer, who will talk about the evolution of Mind's research activities and how they are continuing to drive innovation, the formation of new companies, investments, and partnerships. As Dr. Copan states, the reputation of a great university is built on the foundation of its research and scholarship excellence. And we want to excel in everything and show excellence at Minds. So it's meant to be. What does the current research landscape look like at Minds? This is what we'll explore in today's program. But before we start, a few quick reminders. If you think of a question during the program, please feel free to use the chat and we'll keep an eye on it. And if we run out of time and don't get to your question, we'll circle back with you after the program. All of our Lunch Bunch programs are recorded and can be accessed on the Lunch Bunch page of the alumni website, which is weare.minds.edu. So if you missed one, want to listen again, or would like to share the program with a friend, visit the page to access the complete archive of recordings going back to 2020 when we started doing Lunch Bunch in a virtual format. There is quite a library to access and some really great programming. As always, if you have ideas for future speakers or topics, we want to know about them. So please contact me or anyone in the alumni office with your suggestions, and we'll do our best to make that happen. All right, so what you've been waiting for. Let's get started. Please help me welcome Dr. Walt Copan to our March Lunch Bunch. Dr. Copan.
Hey, thank you so much. It's a delight to see you all. Thank you for taking the time to join with us. It really is my sincere pleasure to be with you all. I'm just going to find my presentation here once again that I just had up momentarily. So let me find the sharing here. Open up my Lunch Bunch presentation and let's get us going. Can you see that all right?
All right.
We can see your files. It hasn't, if you want to click on it to open it, perhaps.
Okay.
Double click on it.
It's showing just fine over here like it did before, but
well, you might have to unshare and share that
right.
specific screen.
All right. All right, I'm going to stop that now and let's restart this. Share screen. Let's try this again, folks. The technology.
There we go.
We're up.
We are good.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Are you seeing it now in the full presentation mode?
Perfect. There you go.
All right. Great. Thank you so much once again, everyone. So yeah, I'm Walt Copan, VP for Research and Technology Transfer. Here at Minds already for 2.5 years. Before coming to Minds, I was the Undersecretary of Commerce and Director of the National Institute of Standards and Technology, also known as NIST. My background is in physical chemistry, so I have a doctorate in physical chemistry, an undergraduate degree in music as well as in chemistry, so a double degree program. And so music has always been a big part of my life as well as earlier career. I had a long career in industry, but a strong relationship with the National Renewable Energy Lab and the Department of Energy system. And it was really over dinner one day with Admiral Richard Truly, who had just accepted the position of being director at NREL, that he had asked me whether I had ever considered working within the federal government sector and the federal labs particularly. And that conversation with Dick Truly, who unfortunately we lost a few weeks ago. He passed away recently as a real champion for America and just an amazing leader in so many dimensions. I got to know not only Dick Truly, but also the Colorado School of Mines back at the time when I started at NREL. And so worked together very closely with John Trefny on a partnership agreement between NREL and Mines, which has borne a lot of fruit over the years. And so coming to Colorado School of Mines now after those experiences, putting the partnership agreement in place, and then going on to several other opportunities in both the public and the private sectors, it's a real thrill for me to be with this absolutely amazing world-class university. We are at 150, and what an exciting time for all of us at the university, not only celebrating the accomplishments, but also looking to the future. And we, I believe, all know the importance of the leadership reputation of this university as top of mind, first choice. And as we have been working together in the Office of Research and Technology Transfer, we have really focused on being that go-to place for use-inspired research and solving the problems that matter. Mines is a university that has a phenomenal reputation for being big thinkers, pragmatic in orientation, and with students that are prepared to address the challenges by rolling up their sleeves and getting the job done. And so I'm personally really thrilled that the research program at Mines leads to that type of outcome. We're very proud of our reputation as a university. And I think it's important for all of us to remember that that reputation is built so much on the strength of our faculty and the research that they do, the partnerships that they enter, the publications, the patents that they have issued, because that is a big part of the outward recognition of Mines. So once again, we are ranked in the top 3 of the US elite energy programs, geosciences, petroleum engineering, hydrology, and water resources overall. Our ranking as #1 mineral and mining engineering program in the world is really based on the strength of our research and the output of our publications and the way in which our faculty work together, not only within Mines, but with other partners. And a statistic that we're very proud of is that we're always ranked at the top in the United States as universities that combine research and instruction. And so that practical experience that our faculty bring to the classroom and involving students in research programs, both on site as well as in projects that are sometimes far afield around the world, that prepares our students at the undergraduate and the graduate level to make a difference because of their experience in the laboratory, their experience in the field, and the chance to work with faculty who are active in the world of leading edge research. We're excited about the partnerships that we have as a university, and also some of the areas that may not always come to mind immediately. As I'm looking at this listing here on the right of my screen, I'm looking at the US quantum engineering programs and the fact that Mines was a pioneer um, in, in these programs that bring together students from across a wide range of disciplines, from physics, computer science, electrical engineering, advanced math and statistics, and so much more in building out a program that that is leading edge in the United States and globally. We are a medium-sized university, which means that we have to call our shots. We're not going to do it all. And certainly as a STEM-focused university, our actions in the quantum engineering program with partners in Colorado and surrounding states have led to our team in Colorado being selected as a finalist by the Economic Development Administration for a major quantum hub. It's called Elevate Quantum. It's a partnership involving Mines and many other partners from the private sector and also from academia, from research organizations, startup companies. And it is an exciting time as we look at Colorado School of Mines and our reputation, our strength leading in these important areas. You know, another area that we're really proud of is our humanitarian engineering programs. As I look at my screen, it's the bottom right. Because the connection between science and technology and society and the way that new technologies are going to be adopted in communities is an area where Colorado School of Mines is a world leader. We have grown in our research, and we're proud that in this last year of 2023, we've crossed the threshold of $100 million in research volume for the university. About a quarter of that is actually from private sources, primarily from industry, but a fraction of that increasingly is from science philanthropy. And so there are philanthropic foundations that actually are funding science, funding early stage researchers, and sometimes they're focusing on the things that the federal government itself or industry is not ready to fund. So high risk technologies and research programs that may be a bit farther from the marketplace or farther from application. But funding agencies like the Kavli Foundation, the Gates Foundation, the Henry and Betty Moore Foundation, founder of Intel Corporation, you know, they have a unique view on what's important to them in the scientific and engineering landscape for the future. So we're delighted at the growth of Colorado School of Mines and also the importance of industry engagement representing nearly 1/4 of all the research that we do. And this reputation also has led Mines as a partner in Colorado and Wyoming to be awarded a regional innovation engine from the National Science Foundation. And the theme is climate resilience. And so there is just looking at changes in weather patterns, in the severity of natural events and hazards, wildfires and floods and the like, and looking at all the technologies that we have available to us, technologies that we can develop into the businesses of the future, and create new jobs, new opportunities for economic vitality in our region, Colorado and Wyoming, but also with a view that that this is a series of technologies and businesses that can become world leading. Part of the role that we have in our research and technology transfer operations here at Mines is to represent the university with the federal sector. as of course you might imagine, with the amount of federal funding that comes through the university, it's working with the science and technology funding agencies like the Department of Energy, the Department of Defense, the National Institutes of Health, the National Science Foundation, and others. But so much of the reputation of Minds also is being called upon as a thought leader, as a first port of call on key technology areas that are important to Congress, that are important to our administration. And so we're thrilled to have the opportunity, both Rod Eggert from our Mineral Economics program, Economics and Business, and also I separately had the chance to represent the university in testimony before Congress. And so in addition to elevating our visibility and reputation, it keeps Minds top of mind with our funding agencies, with partners in the private and public sectors, and also supports our partnerships with other laboratories. I mentioned the relationship with NREL as a key partnership for the university, but we're thrilled about the U.S. Geological Survey and their energy and minerals research programs, the new facility that's going to be built on the Minds campus. We are, as of today, hosting the entire minerals resources and research team of the U.S. Geological Survey from around the country here on the Minds campus. Many of them are actually going to be relocated in the new facility. We have a major joint program with the Department of Energy on the Minds campus going on today about deploying clean energy technologies and the tax credit program that's available for bringing new technologies as well as technologies that are ready for the marketplace into advanced deployment in energy communities around the country and particularly in Colorado and adjacent states. Payne Institute for Public Policy was established a number of years ago as a close partner to the university, carrying out research in public policy related issues, especially for the energy and minerals related topics. And Payne Institute has grown dramatically as one of the top think tanks globally that's focused on energy related issues. We have recently announced that with the strong work in policy and research and convenings that Payne Institute is doing, that we're now in the midst of integrating Payne much more with the broader research and tech transfer community at the university. So a lot of the work, such as being carried out by our Earth Observation Group, that's able to track forest fires and goods movement and shipping, military actions and flaring and industrial operations from satellite imagery to connect them even more with the Minds community and with our partners in industry. I mentioned the importance of our federal partnerships. We've added Andrew LaTanner to the Research and Tech Transfer team to be our university's focal point for federal relations. And so part of these relationships are in the community of federal laboratories. We are so lucky in Colorado to have 33 federal laboratories within our direct region in Colorado's Front Range. Those include, of course, NREL and the partnerships that have led to joint appointments, joint programs such as our Advanced Energy System program between Minds and NREL that not only provides educational opportunities that are jointly designed between the lab and the university, but also joint research where we have collaboration with Minds students working at NREL faculty and researchers rather working on the Minds campus and then together collaborating around the nation and around the world. So I mentioned that I was at NIST before, and we have a tremendous partnership there that we're looking to continue to expand. We were selected for the NIST prep program, which supports graduate and postdoctoral fellowships particularly, but an expanded program up to $12 million in funding for students, postdocs, and other fellowships. U.S. Geological Survey, we're working on a whole new level of partnerships. We've got meetings set up in Washington and in Western Virginia in early April with USGS, and also planning for a new level of partnership on the Mines campus, as well as the work that we're doing together with them at the Federal Center in Lakewood that includes the nuclear reactor program and supporting the Mines nuclear science and engineering program, and many other really important partnerships. Lawrence Livermore National Lab, they're really interested in the work that we do in explosives and in lasers, the ability to do work both at underground settings, such as at the Edgar Mine with our explosives test range, and in underground settings, as well as in the laboratory. And the list goes on. These are incredibly important partnerships. I've mentioned before, as a medium-sized university, we know that we can't do it all. And so these partnerships actually leverage not only our capabilities here at Mines, but also the capabilities of our federal partners. There's a big hole in the ground on the Mines campus. It's just to the east of the National Earthquake Center that's operated by the U.S. Geological Survey, and the new building that we call the EMRF for short, the Energy and Mineral Resources Facility, is going to have a walkway and also an elevated breezeway connecting the new building with the existing one. But this is going to be a phenomenal opportunity for us, one of the largest research buildings on the Mines campus, about a $230 million investment by the federal government, and representing a whole new level of partnership in the geosciences between Mines and USGS. The importance of the federal partnerships to the university also means that we get involved in working on some sensitive project areas with our federal sponsors, sometimes with companies like Lockheed Martin, who do a lot of work with us at the university in space systems, including with nuclear propulsion and nuclear power for extended operations on the surface of the moon, or the Moon to Mars project. And so research integrity and security is really important. There have been some high profile stories that we've seen with other universities that have had just unfortunate situations with undue foreign influence, sometimes from the People's Republic of China and other places. And so having the right systems in place, having training for our students, for our faculty, in the expectations for how responsible and ethical research is conducted here at the university. We do quite a bit of work in human subjects, believe it or not, even though we're not primarily focused on healthcare types of applications. A lot of our work with human-machine interaction, sometimes the work with the public, involves having good protocols in place to protect human subjects, privacy, and to have proper project design. If ever we have allegations of research misconduct, we have systems in place to investigate those properly and confidentially. Building a culture of research safety is incredibly important. I mentioned our work at the explosives test range. Some of that work is carried out by our undergraduate students. And so having them well trained before getting out into the field and carrying out that kind of research is absolutely important, not only to all the individuals who are involved there, but also incredibly important to the reputation of Colorado School of Mines as a university that does things right. Some of the work that we do with the Department of Defense and Department of Energy, for example, has export control restrictions. And so we manage these carefully and have actually secure enclaves that are set up for materials that might be considered sensitive. And also managing conflicts of interest and having operational security and cybersecurity protocols in place. The Office of Research Technology Transfer has an important mission for the university and really for the country to drive the innovation pipeline. And so the research journey to technology transfer is our feeder system to the new Venture Center and the work that we're doing with the new venture fund that is being raised at the university and has already made its first investment. And so it's more than just intellectual property and licensing as we think about technology transfer. It's about working with students and with our faculty, and in some cases our alumni, to take technologies from the laboratory to prepare the project teams to build a new business and to provide them access to the training and the outside resources. And sometimes it's sources of capital for early stage maturation of technologies to get them ready for prime time and to have prototype development, or even prior to that to have the concept development that we call prototypes before we start investing the time and resource in actually building a full scale prototype operation. And so our Labriola Innovation Hub is an important part of this innovation team that we've established here at the university to link our research with our tech transfer and with all these great resources, sources of capital, sources of education and innovation and entrepreneurship, and also partnerships on the outside. There are accelerator programs. There are programs of funding available through the state of Colorado called our Advanced Industry Proof of Concept Grants, collaboration with the National Renewable Energy Lab, who's building out some of their own capabilities to support business incubation in a new program called Westgate. And also there has been a land swap between the Department of Energy and the state of Colorado, and in particular in the city of Golden, to build out a new global energy park. They call it the Glow Park for short, which is going to be a new collaboration space between NREL, private sector entities, startup companies, and longstanding partners as well, like Colorado School of Mines, in joint programs focused on bringing technology from the laboratory to the commercial marketplace. Research and Tech Transfer has just launched a new website, which we're very excited about. It's research.mines.edu, and take some time looking at our pillars of research and innovation. As you know, over the years, Mines has been known for earth, energy, and environment. And absolutely, those are tremendous strengths of the university that build our reputation and maintain it globally. But also, as we look at the other dimensions of world-leading research at Mines, we look at our foundations of responsible innovation that include our humanitarian engineering program, our technology innovation and entrepreneurship programs and outreach, our public policy outreach and programs such as Payne Institute. We do a lot of wonderful work in basic science and engineering. We have one of the top ranked physics programs anywhere in the United States, and leading edge work in understanding the fundamental properties of matter and of our universe, our work in understanding cosmic rays and projects that go on at the South Pole and with experiments that are collaborations with partners around the globe with Minds in a leadership role. In our science and engineering frontiers, we're so proud of the work that we do in robotics and in artificial intelligence, the work in our space resources program that is really seen as a world leader, an absolute world first to have space resources at Colorado School of Mines. And it's a tremendous program, not only on campus, but also online offerings to prepare the leaders of the future in understanding the management of resources responsibly in space. Our programs of robotics for the programs for the Moon to Mars project, our programs that relate to the asteroid belt exploration, that are partnerships between Minds, NASA, and the United Arab Emirates, partnerships also with the Laboratory for Atmospheric and Space Physics at the University of Colorado in Boulder. And we're also thrilled that this next month, Minds will be present once again at the Space Symposium held in Colorado Springs. So here we are, Minds at 150, what's next? We're planning for the next phase and have a strategic planning process in place that will be part of identifying what the research themes of Minds will be in the decades to come. This is something that will involve the broad community at the university, but importantly, partners in industry and government and academia, not only across the United States, but also internationally, to help inform those themes that Minds should be building on our strengths, but also identifying areas that are clearly important for the world in the future. And to have the process in place then to build out new initiatives in a new interdisciplinary way here at the university to help define Minds beyond 150. So with that, let me just close my remarks and just thank you for your attention. Research and tech transfer is certainly a critical part of who we are as a university, and I'm just thrilled to be part of this great community, this great heritage, as we look back at 150 years of excellence and look beyond then of being that unique institution that is a thought leader that is top of mind globally. So let me pause there and open it up to any questions and comments that any of you might have. All right, I see, Jenny, thank you so much that you put the research and tech transfer website link into the chat. And the presentation, of course, will be available to anybody who wants to access this later, as well as the recording of the remarks today.
Well, it's Fran Vallejo. I was
Fran.
wondering, thank you. This has been really helpful. I've learned a lot. I was wondering if you could help me understand a little bit more. You mentioned the Payne Institute integrating more in terms of research and tech transfer.
Yep.
Maybe can you give me a couple examples of what that looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. And some of you may be familiar with what we call the Global Energy Future Initiative here at Minds, that brings together a lot of the themes of strength from oil and gas and fossil resource to emerging energy, including nuclear and renewables, water related technologies, carbon capture, utilization, and storage. Linking a lot of these areas at the university is the public policy framework. And so policy helps to drive adoption as well as community acceptance. And so linking these research programs together where there's a policy deployment aspect to it, as well as community engagement, is increasingly a part of the research agenda here. Another important area that Payne Institute has focused on is our Native American communities and working on Native American lands on projects for energy and mineral sovereignty. And that's a new initiative with Payne Institute that's cross-cutting and really touches on a lot of areas here at the university. You may know that Mines was selected with industry partners for several major carbon capture, utilization, and storage projects, including in the Pueblo area, a $33 million project with Carbon America, and also with a series of partners, an $11 million project in Northern California. Payne Institute's been part of those discussions because in many ways, it's the connection between policy and policy incentives that are driving the funding opportunities, but so much are also driving communities and tax credit options to bring industry and academia together with federal policy incentives to drive these projects in a really interesting and collaborative way. And I know that one of the folks that we have on the call with us today, Inese Brazina Pitcher, is actually project manager for the Carbon America Carbon Safe project. And so a lot of what Inese and members of her team are doing together with folks like Jessica Smith is looking at the community partnerships, the engagement in Pueblo, working side by side with industry, in helping the community understand the benefits of a major project like this for job creation, and also helping communities to understand the role of the university and industry in a way that's a true partnership that's brought together with the policy framework that's helping to drive it. Another area that I'm really excited about too, Fran, that's part of what the Earth Observation Group of the Payne Institute has been doing is finding ways of connecting their satellite research in carbon emissions, in flaring, and understanding industrial operations around the United States and around the world, and connecting that even more directly with the research project opportunities across campus. And then the other aspect is we've got some amazing tools that have been developed, but we want to make sure that more people understand what they are, and so to support them in business development and outreach through our Office of Industry Relations as well at the university, to create more business opportunities for the team at Payne Institute, to tap in even more completely with the broad range of industry partnerships that we have at the university. And a lot of our alumni from the university, high proportion, of course, in the energy sector, but increasingly we're seeing a lot of our alumni in places that I mentioned, Lockheed Martin as one of our partners at the university. And we had a meeting with their leadership in the west part of Denver at their Space Systems headquarters. And there's over 300 Mines alumni who are now happily working at Lockheed in various aspects of technology, from materials to advanced communications to nuclear energy and propulsion. And so it's really quite interesting now as we're looking at this linkage between what the university does with our base of industry partners and the connection with public policy that is leading so much the conversation nationally. We're just very excited about the future of mines, and the chance to build on these great strengths that increasingly are part of our research programs and outreach. Let me lastly say that an area that we're really excited about at the university kind of connects with our international policy outreach, together with the State Department, together with USAID, the Agency for International Development. These types of relationships and supporting the work that John Bradford and our global initiatives team are involved in, so much involve research, to research collaborations between mines and colleagues in places like Peru and Brazil and Bolivia and Kazakhstan and Congo and other parts of sub-Saharan Africa. It's just a really exciting time for the university, and so the global reputation that we enjoy for being that top mining school in the world. We have a delegation I mentioned earlier on from Central Asia here today. So they bring the top people from government in their country to sit down with Colorado School of Mines. They know our reputation as a world leader, and say, well, how can we work together to build the resources in our country? And so this kind of partnership here in many ways kind of ties together our relationships as a university with the US government and its agencies that look internationally. And the better aligned we are with kind of national policy strategies, the more support that we can have for boots on the ground from Colorado School of Mines in really far-flung places around the world to carry out the research globally. I've just actually worked on a paper jointly with my opposite number at one of the universities in Peru. They go by UNSA is the short name, University Nacional of Santo Agustin in Peru. You know, it's a joint paper to talk about research and academics, but the fact is sometimes faculty think more about their their publications, the research grants they get. But our article is about the chance to make an impact in this world, and our faculty who are working on these projects in Peru and other parts of South America, for example, are working side by side with faculty in the other university. And so there's 40 Mines faculty who are involved in these projects in Peru. There's 40 faculty from the University UNSA in Peru who side by side with our university. They're working on projects that matter to the people of Peru, because we don't just dream these up. We actually have conversations with the people and the communities around the region there to define what's most important to them. And it's more than just the research funding, which is great, and student opportunities in the field to do research, which is great. But these are projects that are actually defined with the people of the regions of Peru to say, hey, we need clean water here, and we have industrial operations that have been polluting. How can we work together to solve these problems? And so one of the great examples that I love to cite is there's a series of gold mining operations in Peru that basically have been using some more traditional cyanide-based extraction techniques. Now, Mines has advanced some water purification separation technologies to recycle the cyanide and actually continually process the gold-bearing ores there. And it's a win-win-win for the community, for the quality of the water, the quality of the environment, the cost of the operations there. And a lot of these conversations actually are based on Mines doing work that matters to partners, not only in the United States, but in other parts of the world. So I know, Fran, I took that conversation way, to other areas that connect with public policy, but it's such an exciting time at the university. And think about it. I mean, our students are pumped up by making a difference in the world with the research that they're doing and working, that not all of them are native, Spanish speakers or whatever, or Swahili speakers in those parts of Africa. But boy, they sure do have the chance to work on projects that really make a difference to the world and have the thrill of having the chance to be ore diggers in other parts of the world too.
Walt, I might chime in. Hi, everybody. This is Ruth with the alumni engagement team here on campus. And you know what? 3 cheers and go ore diggers, because as you know, this is the time of year when we celebrate E-Days. Not just E-Days on campus, but E-Days around the world. And just a reminder that that's coming up very soon, but I bring it up in this context because for the first time in all the years that I've been here, going on 14 now, we have more international cities who are going to be celebrating E-Days around the world this year than we've ever had, including alumni in Perth, Australia, Brisbane, London, Saudi Arabia, Beijing, Oman, and Trinidad and Tobago. So how cool is that? There are ore diggers everywhere, and we know this, but I think as an outgrowth of all the work that you are doing, Walt, and all that our faculty are doing, and the travels that we embark upon, we're spreading the love. It's everywhere, and it shows. I mean, I know this is a very specific example, but I've just never seen this sort of international outreach and enthusiasm and wanting to be involved in the E-Days tradition. So super cool. And yeah, that'll be rolling out soon. In case you don't know, E-Days is April 12th and 13th. So that's coming up. Yeah.
Are there other questions that any on our call might have today for us? Believe me, I can go on.
Well, I know
so many good stories
time
to tell, right?
Yeah.
About what's going on at Mines. So much to be proud of with this great institution. So much impact, and on Earth and beyond, right? I mean, I mentioned the Space Symposium, our partnership with the Emirati space program and with NASA. The opportunities here for construction materials. So a lot of our work that's focused on the Moon to Mars project is actually using 3D printing techniques to do 2 very different types of operations. One is basically to take the materials of the spacecraft. Basically the vehicle that takes the final payload to the surface of the moon, but basically remanufactures that material, metal and other types of composites, into the materials that they're going to need for the space program, for the buildings, and some of the interior installations. And the other part of the 3D printing project there is to take the lunar regolith, that's the dusty material on the surface of the moon and fabricate it into materials of construction using 3D printing strategies to build those materials. I think many of you know that Minds has launched with some wonderful donor support a new construction engineering program at the university. And one of our lead faculty for that program has led a major national project. It's been co-funded between the National Science Foundation, industry, the U.S. Forest Service, on a large timber earthquake resistant building design that was designed, built under the leadership of Colorado School of Mines. The final assembly was done at the Earthquake Shake Table in San Diego, so close by the bay. It's a 10-story building that uses primarily timber and advanced laminate beams, but basically redesigning materials of construction using essentially forest products, renewables, and new fastener technologies. So a 10-story building has been tested on the shake table with the most severe earthquakes that have ever been recorded. So those are kind of simulated shakes, such as what we saw in the Fukushima area, the Mexico City earthquake, earthquakes in Santiago, Chile, and others. And the building not only survived, it made it through with absolute flying colors. A 10-story building, whereas you can look at other modern construction techniques, and the way in which some of those buildings fared as well. Mine's at the leading edge of engineering and design for the future of the construction industry, with projects like the Tall Timber project that just came to an end. The videos are absolutely awesome. Maybe we can provide a link to the Lunch Bunch group to see how that building has done with the Colorado School of Mines logo right at the top.
Well, there's so many great things going on. One of the challenges, I think, as a school is, being more vocal and proud and sharing with the broader world what we do and what we're up to. So how do we get the word out?
Great question, Fran, and it's going to continue to take a lot more work. We engineers are not always the best at tooting our own horn, but on the other hand, I think it's a new day here at the university. This is one of the reasons why I'm excited to be here. Spending time in Washington, spending time on the road, getting the word out. This is one of the reasons why we've redesigned our website as well, to tell a bigger story about mines, and to have more outreach, that when people think about mines, that they can find information about us and about our researchers a lot more easily. We have a new head of marketing and communications, Victoria O'Malley, at the university. There's a new PR firm, a communications firm that we're working with as a university, and so there's going to be a new request for proposals as we look to elevate our brand. We have hired Holland and Knight, which is a law firm that includes a lobbying component on Capitol Hill. And the principal partner to Colorado School of Mines is none other than former Congressman, the Honorable Ed Perlmutter, who is working side by side with us on Capitol Hill and with stakeholders. The cool thing about that is that's not just about working with members of Congress and the administration. but also with their own network of companies to get the word out about mines and new opportunities. You know, we have so much to be proud of, so many stories to tell. We're in the midst of preparing our new Mines Research magazine that gets really broad distribution in the United States and around the world. And so a lot of these stories that we're just talking about today are going to be featured in the upcoming research magazine. It takes a new way of thinking about the university. And Fran, I'm really glad that you've got some of the new branding and logo information on Mines at 150 right behind you, right? It does take a multimedia approach. I'm really happy that I was interviewed by CNBC, a new video about the future of the mining industry, the role of universities like Colorado School of Mines as the top university in the world, partnering with companies like Rio Tinto, and working together on the future of the critical materials workforce. You know, we are small but mighty. We need to use multimedia for sure to get the word out to the next generation of ore diggers, to all of you who are on this call. But I would say that one of the most important ways of getting the word out is the Mines Alumni Network. There's such a huge pride that each of us has in this great university. Each of us has a great network, and so continuing to use word of mouth together with the web, with social media, with public appearances and videos. I'm also with the Center for Strategic and International Studies, and that's another means for us to get the word out.
That's wonderful. I might chime in quickly. I know we're at time, but one quick question and then one announcement, and we'll wrap it up for the afternoon. Walt, if anybody would like to receive a copy of the research magazine, can they do that? I mean, I don't know how wide your distribution is. If people wanted to get a copy of that, could they request one?
Absolutely. It's still in production mode now. We're working up the new themes, but it will definitely go to our alumni base as well.
Oh, very good. Okay. And lastly, and as I always do each month before we say goodbye to Walt and all of you, I just wanted to put a quick plug in for next month's program. We are excited to welcome our friends from the Geophysics Department. So we'll be hearing from Department Head Paul Sava, Dr. Sava, and his Associate Department Head, Dr. Brandon Dugan. And this is a great time for them. They're gearing up to celebrate their 100th anniversary as a department in 2026. So lots of momentum headed that way. And they'll be sharing some of the changes they've made to their undergraduate research program, student design, data science, and of course, the all-knowing and all-favorable field camp experience, right? That if you're a geophysics alum, you have fond memories of. But all of these things are working in concert with one another to set the stage for another 100 years of success with that department. So join us. It is on, of course, the third Thursday of the month, Thursday, April 18th, noon to 1. And you can RSVP to that lunch bunch at the same place that you RSVP'd for this one. So with that, let's all give a round of virtual applause to Dr. Walt Copan. Thank you so much for joining us. It's great to see you all. And of course, go Ore Diggers, right? Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for joining us.